Hey guys, OJ Albina here, bringing you guys our IBA season 6, I think, week 3 for sure, battle against Silver Smasher and his Galactic Archop. Silver's someone I've known in the community for a very long time. He's got a lot of respect for me as a battler. He is very, very good at the game. He's definitely taken more games on us than we've won versus him, but we've definitely beaten him before, and I think we can do it this week with the squad we have. Though, Silver does have a terrifying team, and I do kind of want to get into that. I'll link his stuff in the description below. I know he does upload from time to time, so definitely go check him out if you haven't done so already. Owen from the future here, completely picking up slack for past on for forgetting to remind you guys that only a good, 30 to 35% of you that are watching the videos are actually subs. So it leaves a good almost 70% of y'all that are watching the videos and enjoying it that aren't sub. If you are enjoying it and you haven't done so already, please consider dropping a sub. It really does help me out. It's completely free, and it lets me know you're enjoying what I'm doing. But yeah, with that being said, let's jump right back into the team builder. But let's do a quick little team builder so you can see what we're bringing, why we're bringing it, so we can have a little bit of background knowledge going into the battle, stuff like that. I apologize if I look like I'm about to fall asleep in the middle of recording, but I kind of am. It's like 12:30 in the morning, and I'm really tired. I'm an old man, and I don't usually stay up past like 11:30. But I realize I have to record this because it goes up tomorrow morning, and I need to record it and edit it and all that stuff. But I do have a coffee that says hubby on it. I'm pulling out my inner D-Ray. I'm trying to wake up with a little bit of caffeine and get this recorded to you guys. So, no more stalling. Let's go ahead and jump into the match. So, our team, as you can see on the screen right there, consists of Salazzle, Persian, Alola Persian, Superior, Mega DNC, Frogadier, Golbat, Porygon Z, Komodo, Seismitoad, Celesteela, and Reuniclus, while Silver's team consists of Zeraora, Mega Pidgeot, Latios, Mienshao, Shaman, Drapion, Stoutland, Metagross, Primarina, Hippowdon, and Wishy-Washy. Right off the bat, biggest threats, Zeraora in particular is very scary versus my team. I do have a good check because this is Gen 7. Komodo actually checks Zeraora phenomenally. It can run Outrage versus me, which would be a very interesting bring because that would also lock him in, so I don't know if he necessarily wants to bring that. It doesn't have the greatest ways of hitting me. It can dual chop me, but it's not doing the most to Komodo. It is very, very bulky, and being that it doesn't get play rough this gen, obviously, up until Sword and Shield in present time, it's obviously a pretty solid check to it. So I am excited to see that. Mega Pidgeot, by far the biggest threat to me. I don't have good flying resist. I have Celesteela, but Celesteela is very pressured. I don't have any wish support with it, and it doesn't have any reliable cover on its own, so that thing can be very scary. Same thing with the Latios. Celesteela would be my best check to that, but it's so goddamn pressured this game that it's going to keep coming in and keep taking hits to where those two can really, really overwhelm me. On my team, we'll get into my team when we talk about the potential sets we're bringing and all that stuff. So, first off, you can see Salazzle. We're bringing a Choice Spec Salazzle, Fire Blast, Sludge Wave, Flamethrower, Dragon Pulse, 52 defense, max special attack, and 204 speed with a timid nature. We're keeping a max Lottie. We kind of have to keep max because he can definitely go max for our Mega Diancie, which would obviously be unfortunate if we got too aggressive there and he ended up doing that. It really does punch a hole his team. He does not appreciate switching to the dual stabs. Latios can take the Fire Blast, obviously. Doesn't want to take the Sludge Wave and definitely doesn't want to take the Dragon Pulse. That's a really niche option. I don't really see us clicking it 9 times out of 10, but if it comes down to a 1v1 situation, I'd rather have it than not. They didn't really need another move, in my opinion, because Fire Blast plus Sludge Wave massacres the rest of Silver's team. Like, just absolutely nuked it. Most of the time, I feel like I'm going to be clicking Fire Blast because it only resists a Lottie, which can get chipped down if I catch out with the Sludge Wave once. But, and his other fire is going to be something like a Primarina, which doesn't want to take a Sludge Wave, and potentially a Wishy-Washy, but another monk doesn't want to take a Sludge Wave whatsoever. So Fire Blast is pretty free. Sludge Wave is as well, because Metagross doesn't want to switch it, because it takes the fire move, and that's obviously great. And Metagross is the only thing stopping my Mega DNC from going absolutely bananas on him, so I figured that's pretty important to, probably get some chip on and stuff like that, so I'll definitely take that. Next up, we got Sakura, the Mega DNC, rocking out with a pretty simple spread. Moonblast, Earth Power, Power Gem, and Stealth Rock, max special attack, max speed, force with def, timid nature. Again, we got a speed tie Latios. There isn't much I'm taking hits from on this team as well, so we're kind of just going for max damage output. My opponent doesn't really appreciate this Pokemon. It forces in the Metagross every time, which is, to be fair, a great check. It's a very good check to make a DNC, but if I can chip that thing down, I got 2 win cons in the back that I think if I can just wear down the Metagross, honestly, we should be in a decent spot with those 2 win cons in the back that actually kind of don't deal with Metagross all that well, to be completely honest. Next up, we got Celesteela. We're rocking out the leftovers. Beast Boost is the ability. Heavy Slam, Earthquake, Leech Seed, and Substitute. 244 HP, 52 attack, 60 defense, 44 super def, and 108 speed with a Careful Nature. This is going to be our pitch check, and this is going to be our Latios check. That's pretty much it. I will say, Silver does not appreciate breaking Celesteela. It's a very annoying Pokemon for him, especially with things like Zeraora having to come and take a Leech Seed or having to come and take a potential Earthquake or something like that. Shaman does pretty decently against the set if he's like a Leech set, but other than that, we should be able to beat them 1v1 pretty easily, which is obviously really nice. We take on a Metagross very well. We take on a lot pretty well with this thing. It's just the fact that it's so freaking pressured is very annoying for me. So we're going to have to play smart with it potentially. Next up, we got Madara. The Komodo rocking out with the leftovers. Soundproof is its ability. Dragon Dance, Taunt, Dragon Claw, and Poison Jab. 132 HP, 204 attack, 4 speed def, 4 defense, and 164 speed with an Adamant Nature. This is a great Zeraora check. We take it on pretty well. It's a great late game win con provided we can get chip on Metagross and a little bit chip on Primarina and Shaman, stuff like that, which is obviously what the Poison Jab is here for, so that we're not, hard stopped by those as well, especially that Primarina. Taunts for things like Hippowdon, which we can potentially set up on as well. Stop that thing from, whirlwinding me out, which can obviously be really annoying. And then we can potentially Dragon Dance up in its face, which is really clutch. That's going to be our main setup bait. It's going to be that Hippo if it ends up coming, which is nice. Other than that, it's just a great Zera check, and it's something that can win the end game if we position it correctly. We scout for Scarf Lottie, Haban Lottie, that kind of thing. Next up, we got PZ rocking out with the Choice Scarf. Adaptability is its ability. Tri-Attack, Dark Pulse, Ice Beam, Trick. 132 HP, max special attack, and 124 speed with a modest nature. Now this thing goes in. Again, the Metagross can obviously take it on pretty well, but it is incredibly pressured to take hits from not only, Mega Diancie, but potentially from my Komodo as well. So if I can force chip on that, or even vice versa, make this thing come in, make the Metagross take a bunch from an adaptability Tri-Attack, pivot out. My other mons in the back look great, and my PZ for later on looks great. So that's obviously really phenomenal. It's a great win con in the end game. I don't expect him to have any Scarfers that should outspeed this. I don't think Scarf Lottie comes versus me. I don't think Scarf Zera comes versus me. And I don't think Scarf Shaman or Drapion come versus me either. So theoretically, this thing can do well in the end game. If we could stay at a range of Bullet Punch or something like that, or like a Fake Out from Mienshao and stuff like that. Just gotta keep in account priority. Other than that, I really do think PC with the proper chip can either be a great revenge killer, great breaker, or even just a great win con in this endgame. And then lastly, we got my boy a little Persian, rocking out with our Draconium Z. Fur Coat's ability, Foul Play, Gunk Shot, Toxic, and Parting Shot. 132 HP, 156 attack, and 220 speed with a jolly nature. This thing is here to pivot in and out on some annoying threats like the Zeraora and things like that, stopping, Mono Psychic Lottie from really going crazy. It's one of my better pivots into Metagross if I don't want to let my Celesteela get chipped. It's here to pivot, Toxic and things, and then probably Z Parting Shot up either my Celesteela or my Komodo in the end game to really help them out and, potentially staying healthy, staying, keeping that longevity and things like that. It's also a decent physical Zeraora set, though I do think like a special or mixed set could definitely count because I obviously have a Seismitoad and, just a standard, physically offensive set doesn't really deal with that. I definitely expect potentially a more defensive set and things like that. So yeah, that's going to be the team. I will be right back with the battle. Alright guys, here we are with the battle. So you can see the 6 silver elected to bring as I fix my crop draw really quick. I apologize. There we go. A little bit better. He ended up going with the Mienshao, Mega Pidgeot, Zeraora, Latios, Metagross, and the Drapion. Looking at lead matchup, I think my Porygon Z and my Komodo look phenomenal in this endgame. All I can do is just chip down that Metagross. They should be able to win this endgame if I position myself correctly, which is very insight. Something I did notice though is that I'm very weak to Mienshao. Looking back at my prep in hindsight, I should have brought something from Mienshao. I had 2 great checks in the back, Golbat and Reuniclus, and I just decided I like my offense, and I kind of looked at the shiny offense button, how good a lot of my offensive touch did versus Silver. Didn't really take into account what I would do if I end up losing momentum. So that's going to be very scary to deal with, as you're going to see here as we jump into the battle. I'm going to lead off with my Alolan Persian. I wanted to lead against a potential Metagross that would want to lead against my Diancie. scare me out, let me get up rocks, you know, try and get up rocks in my face, or even just off a big meteor mash, put some pressure on. But Silver is going to lead off with his Mienshao, which again is very, very scary. Again, I didn't bring Switch into this. And at this point, I'm kind of thinking, what's my most expendable member? If he's Reckless High Jump Kick, he kills something right here. I need my Persian. I need my Persian because I need to keep things healthy. I need to pivot in and out, and I need to kind of use it around. And in my head at first, I was thinking I can go Celesteela. Maybe I can take 2, etc. Maybe he'll scout for Protect, and I can get lucky. Something like that. However, as you're going to see, the side jump kick is going to come off, and this is going to do a million. And what this is going to do is basically allow Silver to click Hurricane for the rest of the match. I don't have a good flying resist at this point, especially in Gen 7 where hidden powers exist. Don't have a good flying resist at this point. And that's what I needed Celesteela for. He just clicks high jump kick. This is completely fair because if I protect, it takes 50%, and then he kills me the next turn. So very good play on his part. What this is going to allow me to do is go into my Salazzle and really put on a lot of offensive pressure, though, because I know a high jump kick obviously can't OHKO me from there. It would have 2-hit gave me, so I couldn't have even gotten to this. But what I'm going to be able to do is click Sludge Wave. In comes the Zero Aura. It's going to take a lot of damage. Showing me he was probably AV based on that damage, which is a very, very cool bring versus my team. It could, you know, in theory, check most Salazzles pretty well, which he was very, very weak to, which is nice. But I'm going to switch out. Don't want to have my Salazzle take a bunch of damage. I'd rather it stay out of range, actually, of the, what do you call it? The, Mienshao, if I can, because it's one of my best ways of potentially picking it off and revenging it. What this is going to allow him to do as I go into my Komodo is just go into Mega Pidge, click Hurricane. At this point, it's legitimately no drawback, because again, I'm a Mega DNC, and I'm pretty frail, and in the IBA, it is a first turn Mega rule, unfortunately, which is a rule I don't necessarily agree with, but it's the rules of the league, and this makes it to where I can't keep my bulk and stay in my unmega form to eat a potential HP steal after this. I got a Mega, and I gotta die, basically. Again, I could have potentially pivoted around this, which maybe could have been the play. I could have gone hard Porygon Z, I could have gone to something, man. But at this point, I'm a little bit tilted, I'm a little bit scared, because I'm like, man, I don't know how I don't beat Mienshao. So I'm going to Mega Evolve, and unfortunately, going to just drop this Hidden Power Steal. Now, DNC definitely wasn't the most important member to my offense. It's not necessarily a win con, but you're going to see later, you know, not being able to get up rocks with the thing is really going to bite me in the ass. It's really going to put me in a tough spot. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to go PZ. It should put a lot of offensive pressure on whatever wants to come in. The Metagross is going to be the switch of choice. And I kind of just need to make something happen. You start chipping some things down as the Tri-Attack is going to pop off. And we're actually going to get very lucky and end up snagging a, I believe it's like a 10% chance burn, which is, again, amazing. I'll take that. I need something because, again, we're not in the best spot at this point. I can't complain about hacks the rest of this game after getting that burn, though, which is unfortunate. We can't just throw a loss or anything like that on hacks. But we're going to be able to try attack, get a little bit of chip off, and get a burn on this thing. Giving me a pretty free little person. The only issue with this is Stealth Rock are going to go up, and I don't have any removal, and that's really going to hinder my ability to check that Mienshao especially. I don't have a Pokemon that can live a hit after rocks very easily at all, honestly, at this point. It can kind of just click Scarf High Jump Kick and kill something every single time on my team. As right here, Mega Pidge is going to come out as I do end up Parting Shot, getting this thing down to -1, which is nice because obviously going to take a bunch of chip. Like, that's great. And I'm going to be able to switch out, get a little bit of offensive momentum, try and put a little bit of pressure on Silver's team where he has to give me a Pokemon or two, something like that maybe. And I figured Porygon Z was going to be my best option to do so. So this turn, I'm just going to throw off another Tri-Attack. The Metagross doesn't want to switch in repeatedly, and it still gives me my person. We're going to do a good 80% to this Pidge as it goes for Hurricane. I knew this also never killed me, especially when it was chilling at -1. And from here, I can kind of click Tri-Attack. Now, the only issue is that Pidgeot can still come in so freely. I don't have rocks on my team anymore because we're not Rocks Komodo. And because of the fact, we actually cannot get them up and really punish that Pidge. So it's still a big problem for our team. I'm going to go for a Tri-Attack on the Zero Aura stack. Smart play by Silver, obviously saving the Pidgeot and getting rid of the Zero Aura, which is obviously fine and dandy. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pivot out. I'm going to go Conqueror, and I'm going to sack off my Alolan version, unfortunately. Again, I figured it was probably my my most expendable member, my least useful member. But he's going to end up going for a U-turn, which is fine because this gives me, you know, potentially that sack later on, which is obviously really nice. But Not really, because Pidgeot's gonna come back in once again. It's gonna click Hurricane, and down goes Persian. Just gonna drop again. Least useful member, and I didn't have a switch to this thing at this point. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to go into my Porygon Z, and I'm just gonna click a button. Hopefully nab one from Mr. Silver here. We get a little bit of differential as Hendo comes out, which is going to be the Drapion. Completely fine, because again, Tri-Attack is going to do a ton. This thing was pretty much our saving grace in this battle. The only thing that really is putting work on this build that we ended up having, and it's kind of just the only thing clawing and keeping us in the game at this point in time. But we're going to be able to pick up another Tri-Attack kill, so we can add that to the Porygon Z counter, because the thing is absolutely amazing. But the only issue with this allows, once again, Mienshao to come in. We are in range of U-turn, which is, obviously pretty smart, because he can just click U-turn, pick us off, and kind of go into something else from there. Now, looking back on it, I probably should have saved Porygon Z, but at this point, I knew I lost this game between Mienshao and Pidgeot. Spoilers, because I can't take them on. I don't have a Scarfer faster than Mienshao, which should clean up. And outside of my Scarf PZ, which is why I probably should have saved it, I didn't have anything faster than Pidge, and Pidge is just going to kind of click a button versus the rest of my team and be in a really good spot. Unfortunately, we kind of just didn't position ourselves in that end game yet. Right, we didn't pick our sacks correctly, so it was very hard for the team that we ended up building to pick sacks and kind of decide what was important and what wasn't, because I felt like everything was. Honestly, I do attribute this, not to take away from Silver. Again, he played phenomenal. Obviously, he kicked my ass. He played great. He brought a great team. The Mienshao was an absolute menace. But I think that's a really good example of not getting tunnel vision while you build, and kind of realizing my opponent has Pokemon too that can be offensive, not just me. So while maybe a Salazzle could have done great offensively, or while maybe Komodo was solid in the end game, maybe I should have brought, the potential Reuniclus to stop High Jump Kick from claiming a kill every time. Maybe I should have brought the Golbat to stop High Jump Kick from claiming a kill every single time, because that also gave me defog and I apologize. Potential defog and Roost and U-turn for momentum. Well, Reuniclus is another one that pressured Metagross to come in and out and stuff like that. Obviously the Drapion exists and stuff too, but it at least gave me options versus that Mienshao. It stopped it from locking in a High Jump Kick throughout the whole game, and just kind of putting that Mega Pidgeot in a position where it could just kind of just click buttons versus me, unfortunately. So we're going to drop this week. We're going to go from 2-0 to 2-1, so not the end of the world. We play Kurt the Buzzwole next week. Definitely think we can bounce back. Hopefully we can do so and keep our winning record and not drop to 500. I still do believe in this team. I just think it was an off week for us, not only playing, but especially building-wise. And we played against a great player, but I'd rather lose to him here than lose to him in the playoffs. But obviously, we had to get there, meet him there first. I know he'll definitely be there. But again, GG Silver, definitely go check him out in the description below. And yeah, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you guys in the next one. Later.